Hey guys, Brandon here with True Fly Supply coming at you with another fly tying tutorial. In this month's box we gave out the Stewarts Simple Cray. It's a crayfish pattern. Super easy to tie. It'll be one of your go-to crayfish patterns, from here on out pretty much, because it's that easy to tie. So going ahead here and getting started, we're going to throw our hook in the vise. Just pull this bad boy out here. Oop. There we go. Gonna put that in there. Let me go ahead and change that up. Perfect. And then from there, we are using a 210 black thread. I'm just gonna go ahead and get mine started, just like so. Gonna trim off the excess as always. Scooch this all out of the way here. And then next we're going to take our dumbbell eye here. And we want the dumbbell eyes to be sitting about, the eye of the hook and a half lengths away. We're just going to go ahead and tie that in. Tying eyes is always fun. So what you do is you kind of helicopter your eyes on there like so. And then what I actually like to do, and this really helps out, I think anyways, as far as getting them on there nice and super tight. Sorry, I'm just getting those on there. Is what I'll actually do is I'll come around and kind of wrap around my wraps, pulling them in and making them much more tight as well. Just gonna go ahead and throw that on there. As an added bonus, always drop just a dab of glue on there if I can find here's my bodkin. Just throw a dab of glue on the eyes. That really helps secure them in as well. Don't have to do that necessarily, but it does help. If I can get the lid on my glue here. There we go. Go ahead and proceed to go to the back of the hook here. And you are tying this fly in it's backwards. So like this will be the front of the fly and that's going to be the tail of the fly. So you're actually tying it in backwards, since crawdads actually swim backwards too. We're going to go ahead and take our legs here. I take off about three to four, it doesn't really matter. And then just simple as this, just go ahead and hold it in the middle, tie her in. I always like to make sure I got it in the middle. I'll pull it out this way, just kind of make sure we're about even, which we are, and then finish tying it in. Just like so. And then what we'll do is we'll trim off the legs in length. We're looking for something about the length of the hook, maybe just slightly longer. So just like that. And the next piece we'll be tying in is our flash, wherever that's at. Here we go. It's our hackle flash. We do this for our wraps. I'm going to pull this out. And basically what we're looking for is, if you look at your flash, it kind of does, it's in one direction, like one way or the other. This is going in this direction on the strand here. So what I like to do is I like to tie that in, like with this end going in first. So that way all the hackle, if you will, is going to be kind of preened towards the back of the hook here. So we're just going to set this off to the side and just come back to it in a little bit. Next, we're going to take our marabou. I'm going to look for a nice feather here. I should have had one pre-selected, but I didn't. So here we are. Here's a good one. Well, good enough one as far as length and everything goes. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna be pinching up the tip. You're gonna be stacking it. You're basically looking for about that long, and we're just gonna tie that into the back here. Perfect, just like that. Then you're gonna jump forward with your thread and bring your thread all the way to the eye of the hook. I always throw mine over the eye just to kind of hold it in place for me. And now what you're going to do with your marabou is you're going to give it a little bit of a twist, just like that. And you're going to wrap it just to build up the body. You're basically just wrapping that up all the way to the eye of the hook, just like that. Then you're going to take your thread off and tie it in. Sorry if I reach in front of the camera, it's just sometimes easier to jump the hook that way, especially when you're dealing with a material like marabou that just loves to jump around all over the place. Cut this off as close as you can, but you also don't need to be super accurate on that. I'm going to clean that up just a little bit more. While the fish don't care if your fly is particularly pretty, it helps. It helps build your confidence at the vise, that's for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our flash and we're just going to start wrapping it around the hook. We don't need to do touching wraps because this doesn't need to be, you know, super dense or anything. But what we are going to do is make sure that we're not trapping any of the fibers by preening them back as you're going around with the hackle. This is similar to like what you're going to be doing with like woolly boogers, as far as like, you know, wrapping that hackle around and everything. Boom, just like that. Bob's your uncle. And we're going to go ahead and tie that in. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. This fly is definitely easier to tie with a rotary vise. However, if you don't have one, it doesn't necessarily, it's not gonna make or break the tie altogether. I'm gonna throw in a few more wraps here just to make sure. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump the eyes again. And we're gonna come up here. Now for the last step, what you're gonna need is your bucktail. We're just gonna peel off a pinch of that. Probably about that much. You definitely want a decent chunk, but it doesn't have to be like super hefty by any stretch of the imagination. About the same amount that you would use in a clouser. Whoop. And once you cut off the hair, what I like to do, since there's like a lot of little fuzzies in there, is I'll hold it back a little bit and kind of just flick it, and that'll get rid of some of those smaller fuzzy fibers that are kind of trapped in the bottom. Now when we go to attach this in, you want your bucktail to be as long as the fly, but you want to make sure you have a little bit coming off the end here. So we're looking for about that, and it's gonna be a loose tie, and you don't want the fibers like super jumping around or spinning around. You're not really spinning the deer hair here. Just make sure you keep your hair on top of the hook here. Well, on the bottom of the hook, on top of your tying area, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say here. You're just progressively getting a little tighter and a little tighter. Just like so. Perfect, just like that. Now, you're going to whip finish. For this particular fly, I like to just do it by hand. That way I don't trap in a lot of the fibers in the whip finish. See, I've already got one there, and I'm just pulling those out as I go. Whoop. Just making sure I still got it. Perfect, just like that. And with this fly, I highly recommend putting glue in, because this is, like I said, a lighter knot there. So definitely be sure to glue that up well. See, I use a heavy dose of glue when I'm tying this one up, for sure. Perfect, just like that. Just like that. Now, with the rest of the fibers that are still sticking out of the front, we're not just quite done yet. What you're gonna do, let me put the cap back on here, is you're gonna take your scissors here, and about 1.5 to 2 eyelets in length, you're gonna trim it off nice and straight like that. Come in for more here. Perfect. And now that's kind of like the tail of the crawdad, and it'll help keep your flies lower in the water when you're fishing these guys. So anyways, my name is Brandon. That's True Fly Supply. And this was the Stewarts Simple Crayfish that we sent out in this month's fly tying box. Head on over to trueflysupply.com, hit the subscribe button, and there's a whole mess of subscription boxes just like the fly tying one here that you can check out and enjoy. See you on the river.